What's up, Internet? We were wrapping up day 6 here in Delirium, and as you'll notice, we have a completely different character. And the reason for not having a day 5 entry for the League Start progress is because A, I didn't get to play very much on day 5, and B, the time I did, I was starting a new Hierophant so we could go back to Freezing Pulse. After I full cleared the Simulacrum, I kind of felt like Holy Flame Totem proved itself pretty well. Like, I think if you can handle a full clear of that, you can pretty much guarantee that that build will scale and be able to do, whatever content you want to do. And I didn't really feel like I wanted to do all of the content I'd done before in 3.9 on that build, just to do it. I really miss my Freezing Pulse totems, so I figured I'd just go ahead and switch over now. Nothing really wrong with Holy Flame Totem. I didn't do it because, I thought the build was weak or anything. But I just figure if I want to continue dumping currency, I'm going to want to do it on Freezing Pulse. So we just got to maps today after, a 9-hour stream. And our gear is, okay. It's definitely some good pieces, right? I was able to take the Circles of Anguish that I had bought on that character and basically trade them in for a 6-link Soul Mantle. I had 7 exalts from those rings, and I turned 2 of them into fusings and tried to 6-link my own. And when that failed, I thought, well, I better just buy one before I get carried away on this gambling and wind up blowing all my currency, right? So I just picked up a 6-link Soul Mantle, got our Kikazarus and a Self-Flagellation. A couple of these gear pieces are from the other character, and then the other pieces are pretty weak, right? We've got obviously we've got a Karui Ward with Alacrity. I bought some. These are probably the most expensive item I bought besides the Soul Mantle. They were 20 chaos. I overpaid for them for sure because I thought there was an open suffix or an open prefix on these. I didn't realize. I guess because I'd been playing so long that 2 of those rarity affixes were combining into one. I didn't pay enough attention, but everything else here is pretty cheap, right? Freezing Pulse 20% wasn't that expensive, 10 chaos or 15 chaos maybe, and I rolled it into something else, and then a couple of I think these wands were 1 chaos apiece, and I slapped some spell damage on them. And then the skill tree, the skill tree is pretty much what you'd expect. I went up into the curse medium early to get unnerved and culling on the curse. But otherwise, it's the same skill tree you'd expect at level 71 or so. As usual, we got through with no deaths in the campaign. But that's to be expected, right? When I could swap into a 6-link Soul Mantle right away at 49. One thing that happened while I was in the campaign, I think somewhere around Act 7, they deployed patch 3.10.0.0D, which, if we take a look at the patch notes really quick, they nerfed the hell out of Delirium today. I didn't actually expect them to go to this length, and if I'm being honest, I can't help but wonder if they went a little too far. I mean, I know that's going to their ears must sound like, they just want to bang their head against the wall if they hear me say that. But so what they did, right, they did the part where the Delirium modifiers are now applied on a per pack basis. So anytime you have any particular Delirium modifier that appears, it'll appear to, it'll apply to a whole pack of monsters instead of, rolling individual modifiers on each mob. So instead of having a bunch of different possible effects on one pack, they're all going to do the same thing. So if they all they roll Explode on Death, that's what that pack is going to do. But they also reduce the difficulty of all Delirium monsters at each miss depth. So every Delirium monster across the board got some kind of nerf, right? They increase the drop rate of splinters, which is probably a good thing. Significantly reduce the chance of Delirium modifiers appearing on monsters. So they also nerfed the chance that a mob was going to get any kind of Delirium modifier at all, right? And then there's a bunch of individual monster nerfs. It's hard to tell which monster is which. But basically, like between 30 and 50% nerfs to a few of the attacks that the monsters that only spawn in Delirium can do. They did increase their range at like the things that spawn on the ground that spawn monsters. You trigger those a little bit further away than you used to, so they're a little harder to navigate if you don't want to trigger them, which is relevant mostly for the ones that spawn the tracking volatiles. But otherwise, it didn't change much. And otherwise, there's some bug fixes here. So I figure we'll go into a map really quick. This is just a tier 1, right? But if you were playing before this patch, you know that even in tier 1, especially as soon as you got to maps, Delirium could be pretty sketchy, right? And now it feels like you can pretty much blitz through Delirium pretty easily. So if we find our Delirium mirror early here, looks like it's over here. I gotta say, it does feel good to be back on Freezing Pulse. And so immediately you can kind of tell that like there's just a lot less stuff happening on the screen when you're running around near Delirium monsters. There's some lag. But for the most part, it feels like right away I've been able to just blast. That's the one we don't want to level up. Just in general, there's... Oh, that's kind of sketchy. Like, we're already at tier 5 rewards, which also feels like they've changed, right? I didn't see anything about that in the patch notes, but it feels like maybe it's just a function of being able to clear a lot more. But, yeah, it feels a lot easier than it did the first time I got to maps. Porcupines. We're not quite critting enough to shatter those consistently. But yeah, there was no way that before this patch I could just blitz through even a tier 1 map as soon as I got to maps. And the boss definitely did not scale his health nearly as much as he used to. We hit tier 7 rewards on that. I absolutely could not have done that before on a character fresh to maps. So they definitely nerfed the Delirium really hard. I'm curious to see what the Simulacrum looks like now after I did that really challenging run the other day. If it would also be a lot easier. But people were definitely complaining about it being hard, and they responded. That's for sure. I'm just hoping that people don't go the other direction now and start complaining that it's trivial or too easy, because I'm pretty sure, Chris Wilson will just abandon us all if that happens. It's certainly a lot better in visual clarity terms. There's just the fact that there's way less apparitions going off and on-kill effects going off is a good thing. I don't know if all the nerfs were warranted. I'm hoping that, when we get into red maps and stuff, that'll start to feel a lot trickier again. Maybe like 100% Delirium maps with the orbs or something. But we'll see. Some part of me can't help but feel like a little bit disappointed in how far it got nerfed. But again, maybe we'll find that it's incredibly challenging still up at like the high end of maps and stuff. But yeah, otherwise, I'm glad to be back on Freezing Pulse Totems. This is just kind of my jam. And I'm still planning to do like an act-by-act leveling guide, and I'm still going to do that with Holy Flame Totem because I do think it's a better build for newer players, and it is a build that is probably easier to league start with. I don't regret league starting with it for sure. It earned me a lot of currency and progress pretty quickly without issue. But I figure if I'm going to dump a lot of currency into a build this league, I still kind of want it to be freezing pulse totems. It's nice to be able to hit stuff from much further away anyway. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you to everybody who came by the stream today. We had a lot of people today, and a friend of mine gifted people a bunch of subs. It was a good time. If you want to come by the stream yourself, you can find me at twitch.tv/WallachTV. And yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Hopefully we will get leveled up pretty quickly. We've already got our lab trials done, so we should be able to just blast and catch up pretty fast, I think, to where we were on Holy Flame Totem, and then get further. Maybe check out the new Cirrus changes, eh? But anyway, see you guys tomorrow. Peace.